I think you nailed it, Tom. The idea of an exponential org, what we lay out is the number one thing that a entrepreneur or a more advanced company needs to do is establish that MTP, that massive transformative purpose. And once that's established, then there's a whole slew of 10 different attributes that allow you to scale and allow you to build something. But in a world where there's this abundance of opportunity, right, where we're drowning in opportunity and your attention is your most important asset here that you're going to gift a company, being connected to that company's MTP, right? So, when Elon gets up on stage and says, we're going to build a multiplanetary species, we're going to Mars, we're going to help save the human race and so forth, people connect in their heart and their mind to that. If some company stands up and says, we're going to provide better shareholder returns, I mean, it's just noise.
This is two big challenges big companies have. First, they're not passion driven in the same way some of the new breed of organizations is. They don't have an MTP, for example. In fact, the way this came about was when we first put the original version of the book together in 2014, we scanned 200 unicorns and said, how are they doing it? How are they scaling so fast? So the EXO model is not something we invented. We labeled kind of what was already happening and put a framework around it. And without exception, every single one of these companies that was moving very fast had this MTP. They're all dedicated to one particular problem. Waze, solving traffic, or Uber, everybody should have a private driver. And it acts as the kind of the North Star, the Simon Sinek question of why do you exist, etc. Big companies have two problems. The first is they typically tend not to be purpose-driven. Their brands are tilting that way more and more. But secondly, there's this old economic theory called Coase's Law, written in the 1930s. It's a 9-page paper for which he won the Nobel Prize, this guy called Ronald Coase. And he theorizes that big companies exist because transaction costs are lower inside the company than outside, and that you can achieve economies of scale that way. Okay? And in this book, we declare Coase's Law dead, because economies of scale can be applied to an individual now who can scale to a global level, and economies of scale and the controlling factors of big companies prevent you from moving in any kind of an agile way. And so therefore, all the advantages with the single individuals or small teams with a passion. And that's where we think the future will go.
Okay, so I can predict out, and anybody listening to the sound of my voice right now should be aware that I very much have my money where my mouth is. And